I am Daniel Keys, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. She is an author, a debut author, and the title of the book, It's Gonna Get Messy, no other than Miss Becca Eve Young.
Thank you.
Welcome, Miss Becca, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Sure. So I did the corporate climb thing, the ladder thing, and now I'm a author and speaker and helping other people hop out of the corporate matrix and do their own thing.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering books like this to come. The title, It's Gonna Get Messy, feels like both a warning and a promise. What is the most profound promise or positive outcome you hope readers to find embracing life's mess?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote it because I love it. It seems like a promise and a warning. It is. It is, it is. Just like in life, it gets messy. And it's a true story. My story of it's not a unfamiliar tale, at least the beginning of it, of having what society tells you you're supposed to have, the job, the house, the car, the stuff, the things, and all of that falling apart within a year. Marriage ending, job ending, getting stranded abroad during a global pandemic in the middle of the desert by myself for the first time in my life. And so it gets messy. It gets really messy. But the promise is, I want other people to see themselves and their own journey in my story, right? We all tend to pretend that life isn't messy, that we're perfect, that we show up online with like a perfect, persona and everything's put together, but that's not the case. And I think people are really hungry for true, authentic, raw stories that share the truth of where people are at. And so I really hope people see themselves in my story, see their own mess. And my ultimate hope is that they feel a little bit less alone in this messy human experience.
Interesting and empowering answer, Miss Becca. And how do you define a messy period in life? Is it always a crisis or can be something more subtle?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, a messy period in life. I feel like it can be at any moment, it can be when the thing you were hoping, the deal, the relationship, the thing, we have hiccups all the time in life. But for me, this, like, it's going to get messy is when it's really that messy middle of life when everything falls apart and all at once. And the thing is we call it messy because society says, we're supposed to be perfect. Everything's supposed to be all buttoned up, but messy is real and it happens. And so, I would say it's when you feel like it doesn't go toward, your plan, but that's life. That's life. And the messy moments are what give us connection. It's what gives us meaning. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. And the more that people hide their mess, the less we have the connection, the less we have the authenticity, the less we have, we all feel so alone. It's an epidemic that people feel alone in their own world. And it's like, because we're unafraid, we're afraid to show our true selves.
Truly empowering answer. Miss Becca, a messy period of our life. Our culture often celebrates curated perfection. How does your book help readers reframe the thinking from why is this happening to me or what is happening for me?
Yeah, what a great question. I think it takes us going through quite a few messes, unfortunately, until we can see the positive path that they provide. Because, I mean, without the dark, there is no light, right? And so through the mess, through the learnings, we're able to see ourselves and others more clearly. And that's the magic of the mess. And, again, society really tells us that, there's one path to perfection. And that's an awful tough pill to swallow for 8 billion people on the planet that are totally unique souls that, you have to get married by a certain age, get the house, get the car, get the income, get the recognition, do all these things. And that's what success is. And it's just not the case. And we're all unique. We're all individual sparks of divine intelligence, and we're meant to carve our own path. We're not meant to follow what everyone tells us we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to please our parents or society or what the script is. And through the mess is where you start to understand, at least by the, third, fourth, fifth mess, you're like, this isn't what life is supposed to be for me. I'm done pleasing other people. And through each mess and each learning, you see, okay, this is how I'm going to do things differently. This is how I'm going to do it for me, for my joy and excitement, not versus what everyone tells me I should do.
Miss Becca, what is the specific, pivotal, messy moment in your own life that became a catalyst for writing this book?
Yeah. I mean, it was when everything disintegrated, when I realized my big, corporate job, my big house, the perfect kitchen, the husband, the career, the plan, um, all of it felt terribly off and I felt terribly off course. And as I am going through divorce, as I am losing my home, as I am stranded abroad with nothing and losing a dear friend, um, it all comes crashing down. And I have to finally talk to myself for the first time in my adult life. I have to actually listen to what I want. I have to turn off the media. I have to turn off everything and actually get to know myself. And the ultimate mess came when all of that was happening, and then I lost my father. And so all of this happened within a year. And that messy moment of that profound grief, and an incredible supernatural moment where he came to me after death, is what changed everything.
Changes everything. Whatever what happened, people, well, keep it up and let it go. On personal stories and vulnerability, Miss Becca, the book is grounded in personal stories. Which story was most difficult for you to write with honesty, and why? What is essential to include it?
I mean, for me, since it's a memoir and it's a true story. I've had a lot of, in media, in writing, people that have, maybe fudged the truth a little bit or made it bigger than it was or grandiose something. For me, it was incredibly important for every single detail to be true, um, and to own my part in all of my own suffering, that the mess that I created. And a lot of times we like to, blame other people, and we like to point the finger outside of ourselves. But for me, in order for me to learn and grow and heal, I had to see the role in my own suffering. And so I just I wanted every moment of it to be true. And I wanted that resonance in the book because I think people can feel truth. I think someone knows when they're being deceived. I think someone knows when they're being marketed to. I think someone knows when a story uh, maybe isn't based in reality. And in order for me to help myself heal and other people heal through my own mess, it had to be true. It had to be honest, and it had to be pretty raw and pretty vulnerable.
In sharing your own vulnerabilities, what was the reaction you most feared from readers? And what has been the most surprising or affirming response you actually received?
Well, of course, judgment. You're like, oh man, am I really telling everybody this? And some of my dearest friends offered to read it a year ago, and I said, absolutely not. And they're like, Becca, you do realize if you publish it, people will read it. And I was like, well, yeah, technically, yes. But I was so ashamed to admit some of the really incredibly stupid things that I have done, the way I've acted, behaviors, people pleasing, self sabotage, to name a few, getting into literal crashes in life. Um, but the most surprising thing is that none of that has occurred. If anything, it has, all the messages that I have been getting are profound, like just incredible gratitude for sharing the story, for sharing the mess, and that people feel that they see themselves in my story, that it has helped them heal, it has helped them understand their behaviors more clearly, and has brought them joy and not feeling so alone. And that feels so good, because that was the intention. And I think so often in life we fear being, truly honest. And at the end of the day, that's what everybody craves. Everyone just wants to know the truth. Everyone just wants to be heard and seen, and they don't want any of the bullshit. And I don't know if I can swear on here, but I swear a lot in the book, so it just happens. And that's why truth and authenticity, I think, is going to bring everyone closer together. And it's been really wonderful to have people reach out and feel like they're closer to me and closer to themselves by reading it. That's amazing.
Amazing indeed. And can you tell us about time you tried to clean up a situation or emotion prematurely and what you learned when you finally had to sit in the discomfort?
Mm. Yeah, it's funny writing. Writing is such a cool. This is my first book, and I didn't know what to expect, of course. I didn't know where to begin. I actually wrote the end first, and then the beginning, and then the middle, because the middle was the hardest part to write, because it was just the most messy and it was the most vulnerable, and I was really avoiding it. I really didn't want to go there. And I'm glad I did it that way, because this, I mean, gosh, I don't even know how many passes this. I mean, it took 2.5 years to write. And I don't know how many times I've gone through it, probably at least 10 or 12 times. But each time you go through it, I would have to be more honest with my mess. So I would read it, and then I'd like, that's decently honest. But then as you go through it and you go through it and you go through the onions of healing, like we all do, that's why we heal. And sometimes we're like, why am I dealing with this again? But every time you go through it, you meet it with a new level of awareness. And every time you have a greater level of awareness, you can heal another layer of it. And that's why we always say, it's like an onion or a helix. And it was the same thing with writing, is every time I went through it, I was like, you're projecting, you're blaming, this isn't how, and so it took many iterations to get to truth, where I was like, with every fiber of my being, I feel like this is honest and true and authentic. And I would take a lie detector test on any sentence in this book. And that's where I'm like, that's where that you're at a point where there's resonance and there's truth, and there's nothing else to, edit out.
Hmm. As a debut author, Miss Becca, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Hmm. With this, I just wanted to finish. That is my short term and my long term goal. Is like I just wanted to finish. This has been I have such mad respect for authors now. I will never look at a book the same way. The amount of effort and time and care and attention and producing, editing, covers, formatting. I mean, and then you got to deal with Amazon and the keywords and the categories and all this. It's. I had no idea what I was taking on, and if I had known, well, I don't know.
You
If
must
I don't know.
respect all the authors out there.
It's like what are you doing? But there's this sick, beautiful thing about writing where you're just like I'm like I barely feel like I've finished it. And I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do it again.
Yes. Please do it again and share empowering books like this to or to accomplish. For sure. This will be your legacy to the world. So,
Yeah.
Miss Becca, good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, my advice would be not to be like me. My advice would be like them and to fully shine in the exact way that they were meant to shine because there'll never be another them on the history of the planet and time and space. There will never be another you in the history of the planet and time and space. So I'd encourage them to chase everything that fully lights them up, that fully makes them joyful. And if it's writing a book, if that calls to you, you have everything in your power and being to do that. And you should do it and you should chase it fiercely because I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I began and I'm so glad I never stopped going. And I'm so glad that I have a book that I can hold in my hands that is a piece of art, that's creation. And if that calls to you, fucking do it.
Yes, do it. Just do it, people. And stop procrastinating because this will be your legacy to the world. And thank you for the advice, Miss Becca. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh, yes. So for me, a big part of this story was I was raised in a very religious household. Of course, like a lot of people, your parents force that stuff on you. You want to run from it, and I did. But through getting stranded in the desert, through the supernatural experience of my father coming to me, it changed everything forever and how I view this existence and our energy and where we come from and where we go. And so, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, uh, life changing,
Yes.
absolutely life changing. And it'll call to you if you're meant to read it. But it was, yeah, Power
Yeah.
of Now, A New Earth. Of course, The Alchemist by Paul Coelho is also just an absolute favorite of mine. Um, and I think those are beautiful places to begin if you're feeling, um, that you're needing a little bit of a new direction in life. They absolutely put me on my journey of reinvention and just self-discovery.
Thank you for that recommended books, Miss Becca. And if you could hope that the readers take away one core feeling or belief after finishing the last chapter of your book, what would it be?
Oh man, that you are an epic, an
Yes.
epic, epic work of art, and that like I said, there will never be another you, and just to chase your unique path, to stop judging yourself, to stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. There's no, you can't compare yourself to anyone because it's impossible. How you were born, your parents, everything. So you are magic. Own it, chase it, be you, authentically you.
Naturally you. People, so how has writing this book changed your own relationship with the inevitable messiness that life continues to bring?
Hmm. Now, when the mess hits, I don't spiral so fast, or if at all. Um, Usually it was the whole full spiral and the flailing and the anger and the blaming and the frustration and the and the screaming, whatever. And now there's presence, and I'm able to see it as it is. I'm able to understand that what's coming when those messy moments hit is a learning, and that there's always a way through. And to ask, to ask for help and be present in that. But it will pass, but it's before you for a reason. And whether you can see it or not in that moment, the mess is going to serve you. It will help you on your path. You just can't see it in that moment because, well, our egos and our mortal mind like to make it a whole thing. But there's a more grand plan at play that is always looking out for us. So now I'm like, oh, okay, mess is here. Cool. What do I have to learn?
Right on. Right on. So much, Becca. Before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Text 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Becca, looking back now, what would you tell to younger self about the messy moments she was afraid of?
Oh man. I would have said what I was saying earlier, that they're there to help you. They're there to serve you. So yeah, don't be afraid. Lean into them and be willing to listen to what they have to teach you.
Yes, definitely. Don't be afraid to commit mistake too, because mistakes make you better in the future, as well as failure.
Yeah.
So, Miss Becca Eve Young, thank you so much for sharing your mess, your book to the world, all your mess to the world. For sure, there will be a mirror of reflection that people get better and better and better when it's gonna get messy. Yes. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your debut book?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I can. um, so you can find me at beccaeveyoung.com. There'll be a link to the book on there. You can also find me on Amazon. It'll be live September 30th. And your support of reading my story and sharing the story means more than you can imagine. So thank you if you see.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Becca Eve Young, because if we support her, for sure, more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Miss Becca, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.